Okay, so this tutorial follows on from the previous one where we made this 3D object inside Blender. Now what I'm going to do is use this object in a game, and this is going to take several tutorials to get through, but this tutorial is just going to set a few things up. So first of all, up at the top of the screen I'm going to change my renderer to the Blender game engine renderer. Okay, there are two different renderers here. The ordinary renderer for making 3D scenes or animations, and then the real-time game engine renderer. Okay, so if you're going to be making games, you have to set it to the game engine one. Also, I'm going to set my default viewpoint or default screen layout to something else. I'm going to set it to the game logic. You see that there are different settings here depending on what you're going to be doing in Blender. So there's an animation layout, compositing, etc. But I'm going to change to the game logic layout here. And the main feature of this is this panel here where we can set up things called logic bricks. Okay, so I'm just going to change my viewpoint here, so I'm pressing 0 on my number pad on my keyboard so I can see this object here, which is going to be a flat panel which I'm going to make move around. Okay, the aim of my game is to have a panel which you can move, you can tilt using the keyboard. There's going to be a hole in this panel, and there's going to be a ball which falls down and lands on the panel, and the aim of the game is to roll the ball into the hole. Okay, so I'm going to select this object, and then I'm going to change to a top view, which is 7 on the keyboard. Okay, and I'm going to add another object into the scene, and I'm going to use this object to cut a hole in this flat panel. So first of all, I'm going to click somewhere over to the right hand side of this flat panel. I'm going to move my cursor there. Then I'm going to press Shift and A to add a new object to my scene. And I'm going to choose, from this list, I'm going to choose Mesh and then Cylinder. Okay, so this is going to add a cylinder to this scene. I'll just move around in 3D so you can see that object. So you see it looks like a simple cylinder shape. Okay. Now I'm going to move this object over here so that it overlaps with the flat panel that we made earlier. And I'm going to just change around to a side view and make this object cut right through the original object like so. So I'm going to use this cylinder to cut a hole inside, or cut a hole right through this panel here, this platform. Okay, so I've got this platform here selected. Now what I'm going to do is apply a modifier to it. So you'll find the modifiers here inside this properties panel. Right, so this is the modifiers. I'm going to choose a Boolean modifier, and the type of Boolean modifier I'm using is the difference modifier. And this is going to cut away the difference between this panel and the cylinder. Okay, so I need to tell it to use the cylinder to cut away. Okay, so I just click there and choose cylinder, and that's the name of this object here. That's the default name for that object. And then I'm going to apply the effect, the transformation. Okay, now nothing appears to happen until I select this object. Okay, so I'm selecting using the right hand mouse button, and then if I drag it away, you'll see that a hole has been cut in this platform here. I can now delete this object, so I can do that by pressing X and then hitting delete. Okay, so what I've done here is cut a hole inside this panel, okay, which is going to be the first part of making the simple game.